Knock, knock, who's there? Well, if you're the one doing the knocking and then sprinting away, it could be the police. That classic childhood prank, known as knock and run, knock a door run, or whatever you called it in your neighborhood, is actually illegal in the UK. I know, it sounds a bit over the top, doesn't it? But stick with me, because the story behind this is more interesting than you might think. Today, we're diving deep into the surprising legal status of this seemingly harmless prank. We'll look at the specific laws that make it an offense, explore some real-life cases where people got into serious trouble, and understand why what seems like a bit of fun can have some pretty serious consequences. By the end of this video, you'll see this childhood game in a completely new light. So, grab your tea, get comfy, and let's uncover the secret legal life of knock and run. So, how can a simple knock and a dash be against the law? It all comes down to a piece of legislation from nearly 200 years ago. Get this, the Town Police Clauses Act of 1847. Yes, you heard that right, 1847. This was an act designed to bring order to the rowdy streets of Victorian Britain. And buried in Section 28 of this act is a clause that says it's an offence to willfully and wantonly disturb any inhabitant by pulling or ringing any doorbell, or knocking at any door without lawful excuse. The key words here are willfully and wantonly. This means you're doing it on purpose, without any good reason, just to cause a nuisance. And that's exactly what knock and run is. You're not knocking to deliver a parcel or ask for directions. You're doing it specifically to annoy or startle the person inside. It's not just some dusty old law, either. It's still on the books and can be enforced today. It falls under the umbrella of antisocial behavior, which police take very seriously. But it doesn't stop with that Victorian-era law. Depending on the situation, a game of knock and run could escalate into more serious offences. For instance, if the person who answers the door is elderly or has a heart condition, and your prank causes them extreme distress, fear, or even a medical emergency, you could be looking at charges under the Protection from Harassment Act, 1997. This act makes it illegal to pursue a course of conduct which amounts to harassment of another. If you and your friends target the same house over and over, that's a course of conduct. Imagine an elderly person living alone. A sudden, loud knock late at night isn't a joke to them. It's terrifying. They might think it's a burglar. Their heart rate spikes, they feel panicked. If this happens repeatedly, it can cause severe anxiety and emotional distress. In the eyes of the law, that's harassment. The potential consequences here are far more severe than the small fine associated with the 1847 Act. We're talking about possible community orders, larger fines, and even a criminal record that could follow you for life. And it gets even more serious. What if, in your haste to run away, you jump over a fence and break it? That's criminal damage. What if you trample through someone's prize-winning flower bed? Again, criminal damage. What if the homeowner comes running out, trips over something you left behind, and gets injured? You could be held liable. The point is, the act of knocking and running is rarely just that. It often involves trespassing, and it can easily lead to accidental damage or injury, each of which is a separate offense. Now, you might be thinking, come on, who actually gets arrested for this? And it's a fair question. Most of the time, if it's just kids having a bit of fun, the police might just give them a stern talking to and send them home. But don't be mistaken, they absolutely can and do take further action, especially if the behavior is persistent or targets vulnerable individuals. There have been numerous cases reported in local news across the UK where police have issued warnings, fines, or even made arrests related to knock and run. For example, police forces often put out notices about increases in antisocial behavior, specifically citing knock and run, especially during school holidays. They warn that anyone caught can be prosecuted. There have been instances where individuals have been issued with community protection warnings or notices. Breaching one of these is a criminal offense. In more extreme cases, where the harassment is severe, people have been arrested. It often depends on the context, the frequency, and the impact on the victim. A few years ago, there was a case in the north of England where a group of youths were repeatedly targeting an elderly couple's home. They were knocking on the door at all hours of the night, shouting abuse, and causing genuine fear. The police got involved, and the youths were identified. They were dealt with formally through the justice system, receiving antisocial behavior orders, or ASBOs, as they were known then. This wasn't treated as a harmless prank. It was treated as a targeted campaign of intimidation. So, why is the law so strict on this? It's about protecting people's right to feel safe and secure in their own homes. Your home is your sanctuary, your castle. The last thing you want is to be constantly on edge, waiting for the next bang on the door. For people with anxiety, PTSD, or for those who are simply a bit nervous, a sudden, unexplained knock can be incredibly jarring. It's an invasion of their peace and privacy. Think about new parents with a baby who has just fallen asleep. Or someone who works night shifts and is trying to sleep during the day. Or simply anyone who just wants to relax in their own home without being disturbed. The prank might only last a few seconds for the person doing it, but the feeling of unease for the person inside can last for hours. This is the hidden harm of knock and run that the law seeks to prevent. It's not about being a killjoy. It's about basic respect and consideration for others in our communities. Now, with the rise of social media, there's a new, worrying trend. Some people are filming their knock and run pranks for platforms like TikTok or YouTube, trying to get views and likes. This adds a whole new layer of problems. Firstly, filming yourself committing an offense and then publishing it online is creating evidence against yourself. It's not the smartest move. Secondly, it often encourages others to do the same, sometimes escalating the prank to make it more viral-worthy. This can lead to more aggressive knocking, kicking doors, or targeting people who are likely to have a big reaction, which often means vulnerable individuals. This social media aspect has made the police even more vigilant. They are aware of these trends and are more likely to take action to nip it in the bud before it becomes a widespread problem in a particular area. The digital footprint you leave can make it much easier for them to identify you. So, chasing clout by causing distress to others is not only morally questionable, but it's also a great way to get yourself into legal trouble. So, what should you do if you're a victim of knock and run? If it's a one-off and doesn't feel threatening, many people choose to just ignore it. But if it becomes persistent, if you feel targeted, or if it's causing you or your family genuine distress, you should absolutely report it. Keep a log of the dates and times it happens. If you have a doorbell camera or CCTV, save the footage. This evidence is incredibly helpful for the police. You can report antisocial behavior to your local police force via their non-emergency number, 101, or through their website. Don't feel like you're wasting their time. This is exactly what they are there for, to deal with behavior that negatively impacts the community. They can patrol the area, speak to potential suspects, and take formal action if necessary. Remember, your peace of mind is important. In conclusion, that little game from our childhoods carries a surprising amount of legal weight in the UK. From a dusty 1847 law to modern harassment acts, the legal system is equipped to deal with it. While it might seem like harmless fun, the impact on the person behind the door can be significant, causing fear, anxiety, and distress. It's a classic example of how one person's joke can be another person's nightmare. So, next time you or someone you know thinks about playing a quick game of knock and run, maybe think twice. Is a few seconds of laughter worth potentially terrifying someone, or even landing yourself with a criminal record? There are plenty of ways to have fun that don't involve causing stress to others. Let's choose those instead. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's a fascinating bit of legal history that's still very relevant today. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the surprising stories behind our laws and customs. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did you know knock and run was illegal? What did you call it where you grew up? Let me know down below. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.